and call the regular City Council meeting of June 23rd, 2025 to order. Roll call, please.
Zazada. Larson.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Carlson.
Here.
Powell.
Here.
Burbick. Here. Walker.
Here.
Mayor Barnes.
Here.
Seven present.
All right, this meeting is in order. Then we'll move on to agenda item B, and I would love our birthday boy, Mr. Shadow Gentry, Mr. Captain Hy-Vee himself, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you, Mr. Gentry. Happy birthday. All right, moving on to agenda item C, approval of the agenda. I would take a motion to approve the agenda as is.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Burbick, seconded by Alderwoman Larson. Any comments or questions, council? If not, roll call, please.
Larson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Burbick. Yes. Walker.
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes. All right, the agenda has been approved. Then moving on to agenda item D, presentations. Number 1, honoring Fire Chief Mike Thomas for 30 years of service in the city of DeKalb. Well, that's a number. That's a number, sir. I know our city manager would love to say a few words on this matter.
Thank you. I'd like to kick this off, and for people who haven't seen the agenda for tonight's meeting or the background for it, just want to read a few things into the record and also say a few things for those who are listening in tonight. Mike Thomas is about to retire after a very impactful 30 years with the City of DeKalb and more specifically our DeKalb Fire Department. He served in every position. He was hired as a firefighter paramedic in July 1995. He was appointed to his current position as fire chief on April 11th, 2022, and he did everything in between. I have gone into some detail in the background, and I'm not going to repeat all of it. It's a large book of work that Mike has been responsible for. But I'll mention a few things that I know he's particularly proud of, and I am as well. You may recall that as we were in the COVID pandemic and just coming out of it, we had several years really of very poor increases in our otherwise some substantial sources of revenue for our general operations. And Mike and others in the fire department, including local 1236 members, collaborated on a grant request to the federal government. It's known as a SAFER grant, Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response Grant. We were one of only 4 communities in the whole country that got the full complement of what was available. It was $2.7 million. It helped us get from a shift level that hadn't changed since 2000. And it got us to a point where we could just meet the NFPA requirements for response on a call, an emergency call. Prior to that, we were kind of make and do, and we finally hit the minimum. But we also knew that we were increasing in our calls, and we had a number of simultaneous calls increasing every day, so we had to be in several places at once, and ultimately that led to conversation here at the council level and around the community about, do we need another fire station in the southwest quadrant, because we didn't have one. And to do that, we need to hire more. So the SAFER grant helped get us up to speed, and it helped get us a little bit past that. But beyond that, Mike then helped lead the conversation within the department and within our city staff, and eventually brought it to you about what the department's 5-year plan was. And the council listened to that, supported it, and almost immediately after the council vote by consensus to say, yes, this is a good plan, we started acting on the plan, and Mike was a key leader in that. First of all, we went out to see what it would cost to do some of the things we wanted to do, which included a 4th fire station and the staffing to complement it. We then proceeded to get an architect and see what it might cost. Got a pretty good price from a local contractor, general contractor, Urban Construction. The ground was broken on May 24th, 2024, and the station was finally opened in April of this year, and Mike had a lot to do with that. Finally, for many, many years, even as our calls on ambulances were increasing, and particularly as that applied to Medicaid patients, the persons who were in the least position to pay the full amount that might be charged through the insurance paths, Mike and some other members of the department discovered really a federal program that helped make up the difference between what the city was getting in reimbursement, which was about 1/10 of the actual cost of our service to take somebody to the hospital or to a clinic. And that made a huge difference in what we were able to do in hiring and so forth. And that GEMT program has allowed us to set aside money that can be used for frontline equipment. Let me tell you what has been purchased because of that program in the few years that Mike's been chief. 2 frontline replacement fire engines, 4 frontline replacement ambulances, and by the way, we also had enough money to look ahead at a good price, freeze a price to get 2 more in '26. A $1.6 million truck, which should be delivered very soon, and I know I speak for Mike when I say I wish it was here tonight. Didn't quite make it. A variety of replacement staff vehicles, the architectural cost for Fire Station 4, as well as a greater share of the initial debt service for that investment. So altogether, Mike has been a hero in my eyes. So I'm delighted to say job well done, and very proud to have been able to work with Mike. And so without any further ado, we have a little.
We do. I want to see if council has any
Okay.
comments or
Good.
questions first, if you don't. Anyone from council? Come on, Alderwoman Larson, I know. Oh, Alderman Walker, go ahead.
Well, Mike and I kind of go back a little bit. We kind of got our kids went to the same college or whatever, and I got to see him. He runs around the cab. He's in great shape. We kind of connected back then and there, and he's always been a kind of a good man. He kind of helped me into the position that I've been into, with this. And so, Mike, hey, everything you've done for the cab, we appreciate it, and you're a great man, my man.
Yes, Alderwoman Larson.
I remember when I first came on council, and Mike was so generous to show me all the firehouses, 3 at the time. And we were standing in little old number 2 down there, and he was talking about his dream. And he was acting chief then. And I used to kid, I said, we got to get that word acting off your chest. It just should say Chief Thomas. And he had said, yeah. I said, where are you thinking about putting it? Oh, I've got a place. And from the very beginning, even before acting came off your chest, you were already the chief. And you were already looking ahead, not just for your department, but for all of us. And I just can't say enough for how lucky we are to have had you.
Any others? Alderman Verbeek.
Neat meeting you back in the day and becoming friends, and admiring your rifle arm there over at shortstop. So our years of 12-inch slow pitch were a heck of a good time, but thank you for everything, and all the best to you in your next adventure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Alderman Smith.
What's it been, Mike, 30 years since I've known you? Yeah. I was on the blue side for 20 of those years, so I apologize for that. But it's been a pleasure, sir. So 30 years. Thank you.
Alderman Carlson.
I don't know Mike as well, but we both know of each other. I just want to say thank you for the last 30 years of keeping me and my family and my friends and the people I love in DeKalb safe. And all of you. Thank you all.
Yeah. Alderman Powell.
Thanks for your service, Mike, and just thanks for everything. My son loves you, man.
Mayor, just one thing. We all know how important family is to the people that serve the city
Saw
of
Jill in the
DeKalb.
audience, yeah.
So I want to introduce Mike's wife, Jill Thomas, who will hate me for this.
Yes.
But I want you to stand and
Oh
take a
my
bow.
gosh. Yeah. She might be the happiest person here tonight. I bet. Yeah, for me, I think Bill summed up briefly, but an absolutely amazing career, especially your time as chief, the impact you've had. You know, they talk about fingerprint makers, and you definitely left your fingerprint on the city of DeKalb and the DeKalb Fire Department. I've known you for quite a while. Our kids grew up together. We're in different things together. Mitch and Taylor were amazing kids and amazing contributors to society. So as a dad, you did well, Dad and Mom. Probably Mom more than Dad, but you know, we know how that is. But it's been incredible just knowing you and seeing just being a good man, and then how you applied that to the role of fire chief. And what you have done with, I think it's representative of everyone here that's here to support you tonight. What we've seen firsthand with the litany of things that you've brought to our fire department and the capstone to build a new fire station is absolutely incredible. So 30 years, absolutely well done. Proud to know you, and heartfelt thanks for, and I know all those shifts, all those years, all those call outs, all those things and the impact it had on the family were significant. But you always pursued being a firefighter. You always handled your brethren and the position you have as chief with honor. So, congrats, sir. Yeah. Can we give one round of applause, and we're going to do another. All right, and with that, Chief, come on up to the front. And council, let's come down. We've got a nice plaque for the chief.
Mayor, do you mind if I say something?
Oh my God.
If I brought my glasses with me. Sorry. Thank you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have anything to say. I feel you. Thank you all for the kind words. I feel like I don't deserve that, but it's much appreciated. And I had to write this down. I'm going to try and get through it. So it'll be quick. The city of DeKalb has provided me with a long and fulfilling career, of which I'm very proud. I'm also very grateful. Holding every rank in the department brought different challenges, and I learned a lot from each one of them. I truly appreciate the confidence and trust that Bill Nicholas, our elected officials, had in me by making me the chief of this great fire department. I have a lot of thank yous to offer, of course, to Bill, and I've already said the elected officials. The executive team has been outstanding to work with. I've been proud to be part of that team. All of the projects that we brought forward, and every one of them was unanimously approved by this dais. Pretty awesome. To the members of the fire department, excuse me, I'm going to do this like one or two more times. Thank you all for the tremendous support and for the hard work that you do each and every day. You make my job easier. And it's supposed to be the other way around. So, but thank you all for that. And including our administrative team, Jill and Samantha, for their support and the hard work they do every day. And to the community, thank you for supporting our fire department. It's evident from the Station 4 and many other words of gratitude that I've heard over the years. And finally, to my wife, Jill, and our family for the support. And their sacrifice, supporting my career over the last 30 years. I look forward to retirement. My last day is in July, and I plan to spend more time with the family. And I'm grateful and humbled to have had the opportunity. Thank you.
Firefighters, come on. Everyone in front. Yeah, that's all easy. Gentlemen, ladies.
Here, Pat, I'm gonna get waving.
Think you make work, Scott? And that is the example of service. All right. All right, moving on to agenda item E, public participation. We have none, except people are going to speak on specific agenda items coming up. So I've got a list of all those, so no one's going to get left out here. Yep, we're good to go. All right, then moving on to agenda item F, appointments. Number 1, appointing Justin Keck to the Citizens Police Review Board for the completion of a 2-year term through December 31st, 2026, and reappointing Sean Langley to the Citizens Environmental Commission for the completion of a 2-year term through December 31st, 2026. Can I get a motion to approve these?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Carlson, seconded by Alderwoman Larson. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Smith,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Burbick,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes. All right, the appointments have been approved. Then moving on to agenda item G, consent agenda. Number 1, minutes of the regular city council meeting of June 9th, 2025. Number 2, accounts payable and payroll through June 23rd, 2025, in the amount of $4,911,949. $4,911,949.73. And then number 3, Freedom of Information Act FOIA report, May 2025. Can I have a motion to approve this consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Powell. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Carlson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Burbick,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
and Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes. All right, the consent agenda has been approved. Moving on to agenda item H, public hearings. I am going to go ahead and call this the public hearing for Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, CAPER, for program year 2024 through 2025, April 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2025. I'm going to go ahead and call this public hearing to order at 6:19. Awesome. Is there anyone from the public that wants to speak on the Community Development Block Grant? Hearing none. City Manager, anything you want to add? No. Nope. Council, any comments or questions on this one? Nope. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:19, which moves us on to dun, dun, dun. All right, agenda item J, or agenda item I, considerations, we have none. And agenda item J, resolutions, resolution 2025-069, approving a professional services agreement with Baxter and Woodman Incorporated for the design, permitting, and bidding of a new shallow well in the amount of $221,900. Can I have a motion to bring it to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderwoman Larson, seconded by Alderman Carlson. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. In the audience tonight is Dan Bounds, who's the Associate Vice President of Baxter and Woodman, and he's here in case you have some questions about what's before you tonight. And this is a professional services agreement. There are two things, as I indicate in the background, that grew out of the year-plus long water study of our system that are important to note. And these are pretty substantial capital projects. One is a new well, and another is a transmission main, as it's known, or a water loop. The kind of thing, a little different location, that was a key element in springing the development of what we know as the Chicago West Business Park about 5 years ago. But in particular tonight, what we're looking at is the funding that goes with the contract to do the design, permitting, and bidding of a new well. And why a new well? And I repeat a little bit of this relevant sections from that water system plan. But that's both a demographic plan and a functional, systematic plan of our water system, where it is now, where it will be in 5 years, and where it will be in 10 years. And at the end of 10 years, we projected that if you were to take our best well out of the system, we would be approaching that point where capacity, the required capacity on an average day, we would be struggling to meet that. So that's 10 years out. But rather than wait and certainly and pay at much higher cost, we have the means in our two water capital funds to proceed now. It's not cheap doing a well, and the first thing we have to do is do a test well, and that will be something we're going to bring back to you. We have to identify we've identified, but we haven't yet settled with the landowner on what the going rate is to do a test hole on that particular property. But that's in process. But we want to proceed now to line up what we need to get going on the design of this well, so that the well could be built in 26 and operational in 27. So that's what this is. Baxter & Woodman has been very, very valuable to us in the last several years in particular, as we have been inching toward the review, which is now complete and which we reported on back in May. And so now there are action steps. This is the first big action step. And we'll be bringing back some smaller steps related to this, particularly with we're going to have to purchase about just under 5 acres to finally have a well house and access road and that kind of thing to the new well.
Council, any comments or questions? Nope. Excited to get started on this. All right, hearing no comments or questions, roll call, please.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yep.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes. Resolution 2025-069 passes. Moving on to number 2, Resolution 2025-070, authorizing an agreement with the DeKalb Corn Classic and Kishwaukee Sunrise Rotary for the 2025 DeKalb Corn Classic 5K, 10K, and Taste of DeKalb events of September 28, 2025. Can I have a motion to bring to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Carlson, and I will recuse myself from discussion and vote on this one as well. City Manager.
Mayor, thank you. You're very familiar with this very successful event that occurs every fall, 7th year, 8th year, 7th year. That the Corn Classic has been brought off with the collaboration of a lot of local people and also one of the organizational supporters of this, the Kishwaukee Rotary Club and Sunrise Rotary Club, excuse me. And the event has been bound together with the Taste of DeKalb. It's really an all-day event. It starts with a run, walk, 5K, 10K, and a lot of runners, more runners every year, hundreds of runners every year. And it not only is a great advertisement for our community, for people who don't know much about the lay of the land, so to speak, but it also shows how town and gown are wed together, and it merges in the course of the trek around the town, both the campus and the downtown area. We're proud of it on the city staff side. What's before you tonight is, as in previous years, is not only the approval of this, but also a request for the waiver of fees, and that this is a community event, it's a volunteer-driven event. We think that's appropriate, and we recommend your approval.
Council, comments or questions?
No, just, it's a great event.
Yeah, I don't know if I have to remove myself. I dress up as our town's namesake for the last 3 years at the Corn Classic, so.
You do not.
I
can vote on
don't?
it.
Okay, great. But it's a great event, and I want it to keep going as long as it can.
Awesome. Hearing no others, roll call, please.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
6 here.
All right, resolution 2025-070 passes. Moves us on to number 3, resolution 2025-071, approving a bar liquor license with supplemental licensure for video gaming for, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce it right, SPAHIU Gaming, LLC, DBA Chips, 122 East Hillcrest Drive, Sand Hill Gaming, Illinois, LLC. Can I have a motion to bring it to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderwoman Larson, seconded by Alderman Smith. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. So the business in question has been known as Chips, as the mayor said. It's located at 122 East Hillcrest Drive. The business's current owner is now looking to sell 100% of his interest to a firm that's been in this particular industry for a long time. The intent of the new owner is to maintain the original corporate and business name. The current manager will remain, at least for now, with the business as the on-site manager. We are pleased to see that there will be continuity, and there's been good management there in recent times. Because liquor and video gaming licenses are not transferable, it comes before you tonight. The Sand Hills Gaming will be the new owner. They submitted an application for both the bar liquor license and also the supplemental licensure for the video gaming activity, and they have also been, there have been background investigations. They've passed the City of DeKalb's Fire Life Safety License program and inspections. They are prepared to pay all fees that are required. At this point, we feel that they're a very reputable replacement for the management and ownership that exists currently, and we recommend your approval.
Council, questions, comments? All right, hearing none, roll call, please.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7 here.
Resolution 2025-071 passes. Moving on to agenda item K, ordinances, second reading, we have none, which moves us on to agenda item L, ordinances, first reading, which is ordinance 2025-028, amending the City of DeKalb Municipal Code by adding a new chapter 56 municipal grocery retailers occupation tax and municipal grocery service occupation tax. And we do have one public comment form from Dwayne Brown. Dwayne, you want to come up? And Dwayne, just a reminder, you have 3 minutes.
Dwayne Brown. It is estimated the elimination of the 1% grocery tax will save the residents of Illinois $360 million annually. That's $30 per person. Illinois was only one of 13 states in the nation to have a grocery tax. This grocery tax is considered regressive and disproportionately affects lower-income households. There are many arguments for elimination of the grocery tax beyond reducing the burden for low-income households and affordability of groceries. It will provide financial relief to residents and stimulate the local economy, increase retail spending and benefit restaurants, attract additional retail, and act as a generator of the local business climate. Peoria passed its budget without adding a local grocery tax. Shoppers will see more than $4 million in savings. Pekin residents can now go there and save 1% starting in 2026. Now, let's look at the argument for keeping the grocery tax in the city. The city will lose $800,000, yes, but what if we had a 1% advantage over Sycamore in groceries? It will replace much of that loss by attracting more customers to DeKalb and benefiting from additional sales tax. A 2025 Wallet Hub study found that Illinois has the highest overall taxes in the nation, with rates more than 50% higher than the national average. The study estimates that a median household in Illinois pays an effective tax rate of 16.58%, or $13,999 per person per year. Now, look at what, if Sycamore passes the 1% tax and we don't, we're going to have an advantage over them. Now, do you remember what they've taken from us? The good neighbor Sycamore. Look at the auto dealerships they've taken. Mercedes, Honda, Volvo, and they tried to get Toyota, but the city gave $1.5 million to Brian Bemis, so we kept them from doing that. They took Farm and Fleet from us. They took the Oakland Park Center, which was Kmart at the time. They've done everything. They're, stop calling them good neighbors. We talk about lowering the taxes all the time. Well, here's a golden opportunity to do that. Don't talk about it, do it. When Governor J.D. Pritzker eliminated it, I thought that's a great idea. Now, I realize there's a lot of cities reinstating it, but we don't have to do that. This $800,000 can be absorbed quickly.
That's the 3 minutes. Thank you very much. And by the way, Peoria did pass it. They have a grocery tax now. They reinstated it. All right, city manager. Can I have a motion to bring it to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Carlson, seconded by Alderwoman Larson. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor. We spent a fair amount of time, about 45 minutes, having council discussion about this at the last regular meeting. It was brought back to you on your direction for first reading tonight. And there's quite a lot of background, and I'm pleased that the council likes to entertain detail, because the facts in this case are a little bit different than the hyperbole that we hear from time to time. And I think the facts lead us, and I'll explain why, to supporting the replacement of the state tax that will be going out at the end of the year with a local 1% tax. First of all, at the last meeting, we went back in time into the 90s. Well, every state has some kind of a sales tax that they've either had or they've gotten away from, and now they're getting back to. Some don't have property taxes, which is interesting. But in the state of Illinois, local communities had other tax options. The state legislature in the early 90s, quote, reformed the tax system, the sales tax system in the state of Illinois, establishing a 1% retailer's occupation tax and a 6.25% state tax, which included that 1%. So as not to confuse, the 1% grocery tax isn't everything that might be taxed at 1% that might come to the city, but it's what's considered to be healthy food. So the phrase has been used in tax circles and in Illinois and in communities like ours that are talking about this, is food at home. And it's ideally going to be healthy. So what is included? Heads of lettuce, other kinds of lettuce, anything you can get in a lettuce or a vegetable bag, fresh meat that needs to be cooked at home, fruits and other kinds of vegetables. That's sort of the core. But it also includes, you can get a quart of ice cream and take it home, although you can't buy one of those drumsticks that's ready to eat. And that's the distinction. What's ready to eat, what you can actually take out of the grocery store, throw the wrapper into a trash container, and eat right there, is not free of the 6.25% tax. It's those so-called healthy things that you're presumably going to take home and either eat as part of a family meal or a meal, any case, and it will be good for your health and it'll also be good for the economy. So why doesn't that continue? The state of Illinois did not cut from their potpourri of taxes 1% that they otherwise were going to get. That was a pass-through that's supposed to come to us. And it always has, and it's come at an administrative fee of 1.5%. So the state actually did make 1.5% on whatever it is, in the hundreds of millions of dollars across the state. So it's important for them that something like this continues, if nothing else, so that there will be a transaction cost at the end of the line. But what does it mean to us? That's an important question, and it isn't just about what do we use that for public services, which we're responsible for, but it's also about what falls, as the previous speaker said, on people who go to the grocery store and are trying to get that healthy food. So what does a 1% amount to in the course of a year? So you saw the report last time, which was not my numbers. It was created by a report that was commissioned by the Illinois Municipal League, which represents 1,024, or is it 1,094?
1,294.
1,294. Communities like ours, also villages and towns, much smaller. And what they found was that on the average, that 1% tax would have added up to about $30 a year on the most modest households in town. Might have been $85 a year on the highest income households in town. And if you want to be generous, make it $40 at the low end and make it $100 at the high end. Negligible, especially if you are really struggling and you're receiving what used to be called food stamps and now it's called the SNAP program, which is a supplemental assistance program for persons who are living at or below 165% of the federal poverty level. Not at the poverty level, but another half, 65% higher than that. People who are receiving that assistance have never paid the 1% and will not pay. It's a federal law, not just a state law. So where are we? What difference does it make? Well, it makes a difference to the city of DeKalb's public services, the majority of which I will say, in terms of first response, and we talked earlier about ambulance calls and so forth, many of those ambulance calls, many of those police calls, many of our public works issues that need to be repaired, streets and so forth, are in areas where households are struggling, maybe on one or two jobs, to support their families. So in other words, most of our personnel services go toward helping people who are not at the highest end of the income threshold, but at the middle or at the most modest side. So that makes a difference. And that 800,000 is 6 or 7 firefighter hires or police hires. It's also a source of money that we use to give to our social service agencies every year. You talked about CDBG earlier. That's a federal funded program. But we have tried, and we are right in the process of getting to a expanded program of $300,000 a year for the support of social service agencies that, for the most part, are supporting people who are at that modest or lower income level. So, in sum, there are 3 reasons why we have recommended this and hope that you will support the recommendation. One is that the grocery tax proceeds are not derived from the community's poorest households. There is no generally accepted methodology in Illinois government circles or anywhere in the country that I've been able to find that says there's another level that deserve supplemental income assistance. And we might think that, and we might personally think that, but there's no program out there in our state or any other state, federal level or state level. And the other thing is, and this is fundamental, and it's been lost maybe in some of the back and forth that we've heard in the last weeks, the elimination of 1% tax would relative to the poorest families among us, and absolutely, in terms of sheer dollars, benefit the largest income households in DeKalb. We recommend against, and recommend for this particular ordinance.
Council, questions or comments? Yes, Alderman Verbeek.
Thank you, City Manager. We have until October to file for this, correct? So I guess the intent of this is to save grocery shoppers a little bit of money as possible. I think we should do that if possible. So we can take this to our budget discussion with our Finance Advisory Committee, figure out, is there anything possible that we can do to offer relief? I think that this particular change should be a last resort instead of a first resort. So what can we do? Understandably, we hear you with regard to number of positions, those kinds of things, but what else could be available in the budget to find cost savings? For example, our water revenue, we still have not identified what we are using water revenue for from an administrative overhead standpoint. So where are the water dollars going? I think we need more information as a council to figure out what can we do to avoid these things and still yet make ends meet for city operations. So in other words, I don't see the hurry.
We put this up for your consideration, mostly because in 6 weeks, you'll be making a decision on the direction of the general operations of the city in terms of budget. In mid-August, we are making decisions. And in order to get there, say the week before, you have time to look at whatever's going to come your way in terms of recommendations. And that only gives us at the staff level a month, really, to throw together what we do every year, meeting with all the departments, talking about personnel needs, and we look for savings every year, and as you know, we have savings every year. So what are the equipment needs, minor equipment needs, not capital now, we're just talking about operations. And we still have to do those services that you've directed us to do. If you want to back off of some of those services, then we can back off of some of the operating budget. But nobody has recommended any of that. You know, we're firing all cylinders and trying to get there. We have probably the smallest administrative overhead of any city our size. We have people who are one deep and doing 2 jobs, and some are doing more than that. So in order to be prepared for what, we can't wait, we can't do 2 budgets. We don't have the staff, if nothing else, to do that. It's literally possible to do that from a statistical standpoint. We can run numbers and so forth, but we don't have extra people to work this budget. And so, I mean, we just don't have it. And you know our layout and so forth. And so now's the time to do that. October's too late. And in fact, the middle of October, we have that second meeting. It would be after the deadline for filing this. We have that second meeting with the Finance Advisory Committee, the staff and the FAC. And at that point, the budget numbers are all done. They see the numbers. They haven't seen all the narrative, but they see all the numbers. So I think now is the time to do it. So I guess I'll disagree on that. And I don't know where the savings is, because every year you direct us, find some savings, and we do that. And as you know, we've had our budgets, our departments return budgeted money to the cause, I guess you would say, every year. And this 2024 was another example of that. So I think now is the time to do it. Our job is to do no harm. So we're not harming people who are in the most need for a break. And we would be helping people who are in the least need for a break. And that doesn't seem to be our motto. So,
Well, and this isn't clarification, this isn't an addition of any tax.
No.
This is status quo, keeping a tax, continued on the books. Alderwoman Larson.
I know everything with taxes, it's like we'd all like no taxes, but let's face it, how our lives and communities, it's taxes. We all add to that bucket that allows us to have the cities that we have. In the past administrations, the way that they balanced budgets is they just didn't fix the streets, and they didn't buy new police cruisers and ambulances and everything else because there wasn't money in the budget. So as much as former Chief Thomas did for the fire department, we still have some older vehicles there. If Andy Rye from Streets, they're still 20-year-old vehicles that are supposedly gonna plow your streets and pick up your leaves and fix water mains, and hopefully they'll run. We are still behind the 8 ball on so many things. We still have lead lines. We are so ahead of other communities, but we still have lead lines. Do you want lead water coming into your house, or you want us to get them out? We still have things to do, and we do. We've increased our social services budget, and we'd like to do more. But you take 800,000 out, streets aren't going to get done. We can't be giving more money to social services. And when we figure the small amount that each family will have to add to get to that 800,000, that as a community, we all can have more miles of better streets and help out people in need. I think we need to do it, and I think we need to do it now. We can't keep going back like we did before and then cutting the budget.
Real quick, Alderman Verbeek, you had a follow-up?
Yeah, no, and certainly, you and our finance department are doing an outstanding job. We have vision on the upcoming years as far as, what we're looking like, our fiscal health. But I hearken back not too long ago when our fund balance was just north of $20,000. And now it's at 36 million or 35 million. So it's hard to ask for people, ask for money. The other hard part is after us, unfortunately, we've seen how 1% becomes 2%. 2% becomes 3%. So I would rather have a policy that just says 0 to take that temptation away from future council's administration to say, hey, that's only a 1%. We can go get more revenue in that area, and I just would rather avoid it.
Just for clarity, we can raise the home rule tax, but we
Yes,
can't
sales
raise
tax.
the 1% state tax. So that's set by the state legislature.
Thank you.
Was it Alderman Powell? Someone else had their hand up? No? Alderman Carlson.
I'd just like to say is, once again, the new guy. Soon I won't be, but I've lived in DeKalb my whole life. I was 18 years old, just 18, when this tax came around. So in the 35 years of living in DeKalb, I've seen momentum, and then I see it stop. And then I've seen momentum, and then I see it stop. And it's not our faults or anybody that was mayor before or city manager before. A lot of the time it was COVID, and a lot of the time it's just winter. Winter shuts down. You can't pave, you can't farm, you can't do any of that. That's why our taxes are higher than Florida. Keep us open 365, you'll be amazed at what we can do. In those 35 years, I looked back, and it was 3 Republicans and 3 Democrat governors. So this is nonpartisan, bipartisan, whatever partisan you want to call it. What I see now, the momentum of what the people before everyone in this room did and what they're doing now, I see momentum. I don't want to stop it. And if it's at no increase to the taxpayer, if they're paying the same, keep this momentum going. Keep believing in our police department. Keep believing in our fire department. All of this, bridges are being fixed. The lead's coming out of our pipes. I've never seen it like this in DeKalb, and I want to keep it going. And if there's no increase to the taxpayer, let's support our city and keep doing this.
Council, any other comments or questions? Yes, Alderman Smith.
I sat down and did my own numbers for what we spend at home and realized it's coming in about $42 a year for my wife and I, except when the kids are there, but that's a different story. And when some were asking, what got me going on this is I have a lot of streets being fixed in the 3rd Ward. So as I talk to people, they're like, well, thank you, but can you fix this street or that street or that street? And then when I put it down in a dollar comparison of what we're spending on streets, but how far we are behind, the money has to come from somewhere. I mean, as you and I have talked over and over again, I've got alleyways that don't think the garbage trucks will get down. Where's the money gonna come to fix those, for example? You know, we don't wanna, we've lowered property taxes, and I think that's a good plus, and I agree with the other, councilman that we need to keep this moving forward. I realize it's $35, like it's only $35, but it goes a long way in maintaining what we are building and continue to build. I'm going to pester you next year I'd like to see another $4 million in streets. How are we going to fix some of these concrete streets, for example, when we were just presented by Baxter Woodman, I don't think they're still here, about the water on some of our streets that need to be replaced at $1 million. Granted, you can replace the water lines for $1 million, but who's going to fix the streets? And concrete streets are 4 times as much to fix than asphalt. Where's the money going to come from? So I think this is a start. I think this is, to keep this status quo is probably the right thing to do.
Any other comments or questions? Alderman Powell.
I believe we do have a tax burden in Illinois and DeKalb County as well, but I don't think the grocery tax is necessarily the problem nor the solution. So I support it just for that. It's already existing. It's not like we're adding something new. It's minimum to a household compared to the city budget. I just think, we go look and try to make up funds for some we lose, and it begins to be a real burden. So with that, I'm okay with it.
Any other comments or questions? So, we've been talking about it. We talked about it last time for quite extensively, but I mean, just to recap, looks like we're gonna have our lead lines replaced by the end of next year throughout the entire city of DeKalb. That means clean, safe water for our residents. That's a huge thing. Our police, we know 25% of our entire population is in 10% of our geography. And when we look at the statistics, 60 to 65% of all of our 911 calls come from that section. These are people dialing 911 looking for help, right? Police and fire help. When we look at human services funding, we talked about the CDBG grant from the federal government, but as Bill mentioned, we kick in $300,000 a year to the Safe Passages of the world, to the Hope Havens of the world, to the people to the organizations that dedicate themselves to helping people in need. And that's control we have at the city of DeKalb. We can choose to increase funding like that to be able to help those people. And we can do that with the revenues that we have coming in. Our streets, to Alderman Smith's comment, I mean, the 2 #1 complaints I hear are our streets and speeders. We invested $2.5 million a year for 4 years and then $4.5 million this year to replace our streets. And what Alderwoman Larson was commenting on, we inherited snow plows that the bed comes off the frame, right, as they're plowing. That's crazy. That's not who we are. Police vehicles that are just breaking down constantly. Fire trucks, you mentioned our water department. They're out there, it could be today in the heat replacing a water main break, or in the most freezing cold ever, that you've got workers at the city of DeKalb out there trying to make sure that water gets to your home under any condition. And God dang it, if the backhoe that they're using isn't working, that's a problem for all of us, right? So ultimately for me, this $800,000 is critical for our operations. And I have to commend City Manager Nicholas and the entire admin staff for doing everything they can to operate as lean as we possibly can. If we had $800,000 to cut out of the budget, then shame on us the last 4 years. We should have cut it then. But we don't, because we're listening to the needs of the community and we're trying to provide those needs. And this $800,000 cut that's before us is only because, and I don't blame the governor, I just disagree with the governor, extremely disagree with the governor, that he implemented the removal of the grocery tax, and it didn't cost the state budget $1, zero. It was a great resume builder out there when you're running for office, right? And he put that burden on all of us. And for me, the city of DeKalb, the budget that we have, the services that we're providing, and what I've heard when I first ran for mayor and the second time I ran for mayor, we're providing those services that people want. So I am absolutely for reinstating the grocery tax. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and call roll call on this.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
No.
Walker,
No.
Mayor Barnes.
All right, yes. All right, the ordinance 2025-028 is passed on first reading. Since we discussed this at length in a consideration last meeting and then also this meeting, I would take a motion to waive second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Carlson, seconded by Alderwoman Larson. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Smith,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
No.
Walker,
No.
Larson,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
5 yes.
All right, second reading has been waived for ordinance 2025-028. And hey, I'd be remiss, Baxter and Woodman, you can leave. I always encourage everyone, once your agenda item is concluded, you're more than welcome to leave. You don't need to stay for the whole, how the sausage is made. But you're more than welcome to. We love having you here. All right, then moving on to number 2, ordinance 2025-029, amending Chapter 64, smoking regulations, Section 64.17, vending machines, to prohibit the sale of smoking products from vending machines. So I do have public participation. I've got a Nicole Malik. If you could come up. Just so you know, I have to limit you to 3 minutes, just to keep it consistent with everyone.
I will try.
Okay, I'll let you know. And there's a little timer, you should be able to see it on that TV over there, just
Yes.
to help keep you honest.
Okay. So I'm here as a parent. I have a 14-year-old son, and now that just turned 15, and a 17-year-old son that were able to buy tobacco products underage at Rockies and at the BP on 7th. I have been dealing with this now for 2 years. I have confiscated, I have talked to the commander at the city police department, which is very nice and very helpful. But unfortunately, the fines that they are getting, the cashier gets a $150 fine. And the store overall gets a $1,000 fine from the city. It's not enough. Not enough to protect the health of my children. It's not only my children, the school districts are also having a continuous problem with the vaping within our school system. This isn't only my child. This is your children, this is your grandchildren, and don't think it's not gonna happen to your kids, because I thought the same. I have taken 3 vapes out of my house because of this. I've turned one over to the city of DeKalb, which is now being tested for THC. This is a bigger problem than I think anybody understands. And I'm asking for Rockies or Rookies to be shut down. And I will go after the BP also. I've talked to my legislation, I've talked to my police departments, I've talked to the mayor's office. I've talked to Ruth already about everything. I'm willing, either hire their fees or shut them down. There's laws in place and they're not following them. So if they're not gonna follow a tobacco law, then they're not gonna follow a dispensary law at all. And it's gonna affect my children. It's gonna affect your children and your grandchildren. I walked into the BP on the 7th and I couldn't believe the back wall from ceiling to floor is nothing but tobacco products. They have a huge monster sign that says tobacco, that lights up green. It's ridiculous. This needs to stop. It's not only affecting my kids, it's affecting our school districts. These teachers can't teach because they're more worried about these kids vaping. We have vape monitors in our bathrooms that the police officers or the teachers or principal are watching on a continuous basis. I'm asking this board to shut these places down.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Appreciate your
you.
comments. All right, can I have a motion to bring ordinance 2025-029, amending Chapter 64, smoking regulations, Section 64.17, vending machines, to prohibit the sale of smoking products from vending machines to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Verbeek. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. As we talked about at the last regular meeting, there are some types of vending machines that may be in bars. In the last couple of months, my office, the city manager's office, has received requests from people who are looking to introduce other types of machines, which include the vape vending that was described here earlier. We have concerns as well. We don't know what those chemical inhalants are. They are not always identified on the packaging that is sold out of the vending machines. There are health considerations here, and it's also very easy. It's just a pass on. I think, as the speaker tonight was saying, somebody can be 21 and pull a lever, or in this case, you use your credit card. You don't pull a lever like in the old days, but and then you can just walk out and hand it to a younger brother, a cousin, a friend, underage. There's no control over that. So we had recommended to you, and we brought back an ordinance that would specifically prohibit the sale of smoking products from vending machines.
Council, questions or comments? Yes, Alderwoman Larson.
I remember when I was 16, you used to go to the bowling alley because that's where the cigarette machine was in the dark side, and nobody would stop you. And it's the same thing. And when vaping started, it was like, it's better for you because it's not smoke. Well, what chemical stuff are you putting in? And I think that kind of gave it a foothold that people were like, oh, it's safe, and it's not. And so I'm totally against having these.
Alderman Walker.
Hey, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you for your courage to come up and speak. And it doesn't, just so you know, because I know everybody gets, around the judging parents. You're not a bad parent because this happened to your daughter or your son, because this happened to one of my boys. So I do understand 100%, You only can do so much as a parent, but the thing is, we as council members, and you're 100% right, we should eliminate all those types of, shops. Me personally, I wish we didn't have any of them, but we have people that want to, let the market set itself, upon our council here. But at the end of the day, I just want to tell you, you can always reach out to me because I'm 100% behind you with everything you just said. And I feel for you. And like I said, it doesn't make you less of a parent because you're going through this. 'Cause I know a lot of parents that are going through this. So I'm with you.
Any other comments or questions? Yes, Alderman Carlson. That'd be next agenda.
Oh, next agenda.
Yeah. No. Yep. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Carlson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7
Ordinance 2025-029 passes, and I would take a motion to waive second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Walker, seconded by Alderman Powell. Any comments or questions on that? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes. Second reading has been waived for ordinance 2025-029. That moves us on to Number 3, ordinance 2025-030, amending Chapter 52, offenses against public peace, safety, and morals by adding new section 52.2, sale of illicit THC, tetrahydrocannabinol products and kratom, to prohibit the sale of illicit THC products and kratom. Can I have we do have public comment for this. So it looks like we've got 4 people that are going to speak on this, so I'll just call each one of them up. Ahmed, E-L-F-A-K-I. So if you want to come on up. And Ahmed, I have to limit you to 3 minutes. It's just the requirement that we have, sir. And there is a timer that you can see that can keep you on track. Yeah.
Hey, so this is Ahmed, graduate of Kishwaukee College, served in the council, actually in the board for like 2 years. Went to NIU, graduated computer science. I've been here in the DeKalb community all around, and I just want to, I really hear her point, and I'm with that. But I was a high school student once, and guess where we got our stuff back then in the days? The streets. I personally know somebody who bought stuff off the streets, and they ended up dead, actually, my own personal friend. So we are sending, if we end up sending kids somewhere else beside the stores, which is regulated and following the laws, then we end up sending those kids somewhere else, which is the streets, because they can't, where are they getting the stuff? Nobody under 18 should be getting any of these stuff. It's regulated, the rules are there. I do have a lot of points here to kind of go over, which is the ban is just for the if we're creating a ban for the stores so that the dispensary is able to sell it, is this really because those stores are regulated, dispensaries are both regulated? Have we actually caught them selling to those people? Then we have to put regulations, we have to go with the law of, okay, we caught these people selling, let's hit them with that lawsuit, right? Let's not ban them and take away their jobs, their business that they've worked hard for over years. I think the local stores depend heavily on hemp and vape sales. Us just taking that away from them, they're people, they have their families they have to provide for. We're shutting down businesses, we're taking away jobs. The vape stores sold under these are under state and federal laws, so they are following the laws. Once we catch something with them, then we can proceed forward to actually ban them completely. But just giving the dispensary that right to be like, hey, you guys can serve and you guys can't serve, even though we're all under the same law, is that really how things are done and how we move forward with it? I'd like the council to kind of think about that, to see where the conflict is happening, and to judge it the right way, and not anyone to be completely out of their business or lose their business behind this. I understand her point, and I understand that kids do get their hands on anything they want. They will get it off the streets. They will get it from wherever they want. I haven't seen stores serving that. I've went there when I was less than 18, and I was kicked out of the stores a lot of times. I grew up to be the person I am today, I understand that, but I really do think they create a community, and it's a place for me to go. So them ended up shutting down, it's going to take away a lot from me. And so I hope the council can take that into perspective.
Thanks, Ahmed. Is it Hadam Mohsen? And forgive me for mispronouncing. Okay. Again, just a reminder, you have 3 minutes, sir.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Hatem Mohsen. I'm the old owner of Rocky. I know a lot of people, they talking something about the name of the Rocky. Like a week ago, a customer attacked us. She said we sell pre-roll with EBT, which is actually, we don't take EBT. I don't know a lot of big name about Rocky. Rocky, I was on the other side when they demolished the building. And I see a lot of people, they selling anything outside. An incident happened. A kid died in Sycamore, 16 years old, because but I'm not try anything with the law. I will go with the law. But if the city, why they want to ban the hemp from us, and they don't, not the smoke shop, the dispensary allowed to sell, we follow the rules. Also, we can pay taxes for the city of DeKalb. They can put taxes for the staff, and we can help and pay. But ban, I have family, I have child support. I just moved from the city here to DeKalb and I bought a house. And now this is going to affect I'm employee now. I don't have business after they demolish the first one. I'm back as employee now. And we are planning to open another business. Maybe I'll go with a share, But when this gonna happen, it's gonna affect us all, like we are 7 or 6 people here. And I left my country because I work with military as a translator. There I'm traitor, here I'm bad person, so I don't know what to do. So we can, and I can pay taxes. I mean, all the stores, they can pay taxes and help the city. That's the only, or they see that's the best thing to do. I mean, we are with the law. That's the only thing I can say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, then I have Ahmed Zayad. Again, forgive me for mispronouncing. Yeah, just, it sucks when I can't.
Fine. Hi, my name is Ahmad. I'm a small business owner. It's a smoke shop, and I just took over my business about 8 months ago. And we are actually opening another one soon in the city of DeKalb to support the community. And the city is now trying to ban my THC products, which is the only source of income for our stores. Because some people are complaining about we are selling to underage people, which we are not. And just in case a kid comes into my store having a fake ID and shows it to me, I'll have to sell it to him. If I don't, as the other guy said, he will go out on the streets and buy it. I need to know what is it made of. And we have more than 10 people works at my stores. So if you guys decide to ban the THC from our stores, all the 10 guys has families. We will all end up on the streets. Then we will have to deal with the unemployment. Is that right? And banning the items has nothing to solve the underage problem, as I said. And the only thing I just want to say, just to ask the city not to ban the THC product, and we can pay like more taxes to support the city of DeKalb if they keep it going. And just in case you guys decide to ban it, the only thing I'm asking for is at least 6 months up to a year to sell my inventory and move my shops to some other cities to support it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. James Freestrom?
Hi, my name is James Freestrom. I'm a member of the DeKalb community for about 10 plus years now. I lived in Sycamore for a little bit, and now I'm a resident of DeKalb. I've been coming to Rockies for quite some time now. And, you know, I'm in support of small business here in DeKalb. I don't believe in monopolizing big businesses by taking this product away from these small companies. I don't think that's going to solve anything. And I think that's going to hurt the community in the long run. All these kids are going to do is just go to another city or town and get it from somewhere else where they have a small shop that sells these things. So I don't think that really solves the problem. Secondly, I mean, this business did a lot to open up. I mean, they had to go through all these ordinances through the city. They had to pass each one, pay all this money to the city to get their business running. They pay 11% to the state tax like they're supposed to, you know, which also supports the state. You know, taking this product away from, I'm surprised alcohol is not on this thing too. I mean, might as well just throw alcohol on it from small businesses out of, you know, out of these shops and everything, because that would be another problem. You know what I'm saying? Let's do that too, if we're really for public's peace and safety. And like I said, a very good point. You take these out of the shops, okay, so they can't get into the dispensaries because they card really strictly at the dispensaries. Well, yeah, these kids are just gonna go out on the streets. You know what I'm saying? They can get off the streets, you know, very, very easily. So, I mean, what would you rather have? Them go into a small business, which is at least a little bit of a well-established business, and get it maybe from a more respectable source, rather than going out on the streets and getting them from whoever that's selling to them. Another thing I'd like to mention too is that, you know, these small businesses support our community. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you take away this product, some of these businesses start closing here, they're just gonna open up somewhere else. What I do recommend though is, and I do take her point into great consideration, you know, controlling your children is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Now, if your child is doing this 18 to 20 years old, that's upon his responsibility that he's going there knowing he's doing something illegal. But if they're under 18, you know what I'm saying? You you know, it does partially, I mean, is the full responsibility on these businesses, or is some of the responsibility on these parents too? You know what I'm saying? I know when I was growing up and stuff like that, my father and mother imposed curfew restrictions on me if I didn't follow rules. If they found something in the house that they didn't particularly approve of or anything like that, you know, they tried to, you know, not only take it away from me, but, you know, impose curfews from going out with my friends or doing something like that, you know. There's other ways to control your children rather than just coming up with what I consider a
Sir,
very,
you're at your 3 minutes.
you know,
Yep. Thank you very
turn it
much.
off. Thank you so much.
And then our last speaker is Christopher Dini, or Dini. All right. All right, hearing none. I want a motion to bring ordinance 2025-030, amending chapter 52, offenses against the public peace, safety, and morals by adding new section 52.20, sale of illicit THC, tetrahydrocannabinol products and kratom, to prohibit the sale of illicit THC products and kratom. Can I have a motion to bring this to the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Carlson, seconded by Alderwoman Larson. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor.
And please cover regulated in your comments,
I will.
too. Thank you.
I will.
Yeah.
I intend to do that. So this was discussed at the last regular meeting, and the council directed me to bring back an ordinance that would address the sale of unregulated hemp-derived THC in products in the city of DeKalb. We know that hemp and marijuana are variants of the cannabis plant. There is also in its title a reference to kratom, which was added by the city attorney, and he'll address that after my brief comments. So there are some stores, as mentioned by the speakers tonight, in our community which sell tobacco products and are also openly selling rough-cut hemp in various shapes and in various kinds of containers. Some are just large jars where bags are filled with a rough-cut product. In other cases, there are some pretty slick-looking packaging that looks not unlike a small potato chip package, but it has such sexy names as Cheech and Chong, Cheech and Chong's Cruise Chews, which, by the way, now is being advertised locally on your web sites, and Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and these are all disposable foil packages, and they're just very easy to pass along after you leave the store to anybody. But the most important thing about what we're trying to do tonight is these are unregulated. And what does that mean? These are not tested from seed to sale, as you see in a dispensary. These are not products that are tested for pesticides, mold, metals, other kinds of adulterants. None of these requirements in Illinois or across the country apply to this kind of hemp. It's a worrying prospect, I think, for residents of the city of DeKalb and the unsuspecting and rather naive people who are younger and have not reached adult age. And even those who reach adult age but aren't thinking too much about what they're ingesting. They'll live forever. That isn't always the case. That's why we brought it back to you with a recommendation to change our ordinances to prohibit the sale of this particular kind of product. Now, when we talked last week, we weren't talking about kratom. I didn't even know what it was, but city attorney, who works with other communities as well, has found that most ordinances that are addressing the unregulated nature of the kind of hemp that we're talking about tonight are also addressing kratom, which has, if anything, maybe even a greater threat to young and old, really, anybody who uses it.
City Attorney.
Kratom is a plant from Southeast Asia. It does not have THC in it, but it has psychoactive elements that have created a similar type of an effect in symptomology. And it is like THC, it is not regulated. by the FDA. In Illinois, you can't sell kratom to anyone who's under the age of 18. But the reason why it was included is that there's been an enormous abuse of kratom recently that has been consistent with the same abuse that has been noted and with THC products that come from hemp and otherwise, and from labs. And every single Illinois municipality that has banned THC type products from hemp, such as Rolling Meadows, Highland Park, Waukegan, Orland Park, Naperville, and others, have also included a kratom ban. So that was the reason why it was added. There are some municipalities, such as Oak Park, that have just regulated the sale of kratom and such THC products based on age. So people, they prohibited it to people under the age of 21, for example. But what municipalities have found is that if you don't also extend the regulation of kratom, that's been a loophole, so to speak, and there's been large-scale or similar drug abuse and problems that have resulted from allowing the sale of kratom. So that's why it was added for your consideration. It's the text of this ordinance is very similar to all the other Illinois municipality bans on such similar products.
Well,
Also, kratom is identified in marketing in some of the stores that we've looked at.
Oh, definitely.
Including
Yeah,
in
the
this
signs
area,
are
so,
everywhere.
yeah.
So I commend you, City Attorney, for adding that. I talked to a woman last week, and I had to apologize to her for not bringing the kratom conversation to the consideration as well as the other items that we're discussing. She lost her child due to complications from kratom and addiction. My closest friend growing up, who is around today, his son at 18 was destroyed by kratom. Ruined his life. Alcohol, drug addiction, everything cascaded from taking kratom. So for me, this is a substance we need to get off our streets completely. So thank you for adding that to this list. And I apologize to all those out there that I didn't make sure we had that as part of our original conversation, but I hope council is okay with us including that in this ordinance change as well. So with that, Alderwoman Larson.
A couple of things that I know hemp and kratom are different, but we've gotten quite a bit of feedback from people who kratom has helped them, and with help, I'm a big fan of our dispensaries and cannabis. So, and I've said that many times up here. The problem with the hemp that's being sold, it's not for human consumption. It was a farm bill, so farmers could go back growing hemp, which they did back for World War II. We had big hemp farms down in Waterman. And so it's totally unregulated. It's not meant for humans. And then same with the kratom. It's not regulated at all. There's no purity. There's no, like a street drug. What was it cut with? What are you getting? And so I don't disregard that there aren't benefits or that there aren't effects. But if there are, then those really need to be regulated. They can't be sold out of a jar at a gas station. They just can't. And you can't expect even adult, I would go into, back in the day, could go get like some kind of no-dose, which was just like basically 2 cans of Coke and a pill. Now that you could have something that can destroy livers, John Hopkins and Mayo Clinic are like, yeah, there's medical consequences. They can be beneficial, but they can be consequences, and they can't be unregulated. So it's not about small businesses. It's not about who's a good parent or who's not a good parent. It's just these things, if you want them, then you better be going to your state legislature and say, get these regulated so that you can get them back purchased. Because right now, I can't see any any community that would want these available to anybody to buy, that you have no idea what you're buying.
Others? Alderman Walker.
Hey, well, thank you for that. I didn't know that it wasn't for human consumption. I mean, I knew it was bad.
Hemp, yeah.
But here's my thing, and like, thank you for clearing all that up, and thank you for your story as well. But you know what? I'm the older person that just comes with the common sense to certain people. And when people try to say slick things in there about someone's parenting, I got an issue with that. So it's 2025. It's not 1990 anymore. Yeah, back in my day, my grandmother, my mother, if they called, you know, a joint, which it wasn't mine, but if they called a joint in our house, she would come and wake me up by my neck, and I would get strangled. And guess what? Chief Bird wasn't doing nothing back in those days, but now as a parent, and ask the streets, buddy, I was one of the hardest parents on my kids to make sure I guided them on the right way. I got 4 kids. One dipped off a little bit because guess what? He's with the rest of the clowns out here. Now, I don't mind telling my business in the street because I'm going to help somebody next. You can't put it on a parent and say what your parent would have did back in the 80s and the 90s because parenting is totally different now. Kids are totally different than it used to be. And another thing, I'm hearing about all these small businesses. We got to get on the public aid or we got to get into the job line. What about all these parents that you guys, and I'm not saying you guys, I'm just saying people that are selling all these bad things too. Do you guys ever think about the kids and the families that are getting ruined by this? Or are you just worried about your families and your friends, what's going to happen to them? Think about it, because I understand your gripe. I don't want to put nobody out of business. I want everybody to eat, everybody to do it the right way. But we got a dispensary who does it the right way, because if you got a problem with something or you don't know about something, guess what they do? You sit there, you talk to them, they tell you the pros and cons. That's why we got a dispensary here with things that, you know, we can buy that are legal. Now, if we can just go into and keep in mind, I'm not running from nobody. I'm the UPS man, and I see everything. And when I see kids trying to buy things, I see, and again, not you guys, but I see some of these small businesses selling blunts to 14 and 15-year-olds. And I'm just looking at them. And guess what? My friends are the police. I call them up quick. Hey, I'm a trick when it comes to stuff like this. Hey, I just seen such and such over there. They're selling kids this. Please get them. Please get them. Begging them. Please get them. So my thing is this. Please don't ever come up on this stage when I'm in a room just talking about your own families. I want you to worry about other people's families and what they have to go through. I don't want nobody to lose their business. I want you guys to make it. I really do. I don't know nothing about Rockies except what I heard, whatever. I don't go there. I make sure my kids don't go there. So it's not about you. It's not about any of your businesses. But I want you to remember this going forward. Think about the kids. Think about the lives that could get ruined because you guys want to make a quick cent, a quick dollar. You know what I'm saying? Just think about that, because I'm thinking about you and your business. So all I'm saying is think about, let me ask you this. Hey, can they come up here? Can you come up? You guys, you business owners. Yeah, all 3 of you.
And I've got other.
I know, but I just want to talk. I got to get this out, please.
Okay, just for a couple minutes, and I got other people that want to comment.
We got all night for all, because this is a.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to judge, jury, and execution here
but
too.
they'll be all right. So here's my thing, fellas. We want to do everything to have every business prosper here. But when you get up here and say, you know, I came here from this country or I came to do this in this area, guess what? Most of these are our kids. I've coached a lot of kids. He's coached a lot of kids. The mayor has a lot of kids that he knows in the area. But hold on. But it's just how you put it up there. You're like, well, then I have to go here. Or he was like, we just got to go to another town. How that sounds to me is like, okay, well, we got to take everything, we got to go, and we got to go ruin another community because we can't ruin this one. That's what you said, that's how I took it. That's how I took it. And I don't know if you meant it that way, but I'm just saying, going forward, just when you speak in front of a room like this with people who are against it, you got to put your words different. So that's what I'm saying.
Let's give them a chance to respond. I'll give you a couple minutes, and I'm going to shut you down because I have other people that want to comment.
Sorry. First I said, I'm with the law. Anything the law says, I'll go with it. The only thing I just was worried about my income. But anything with the law, I'm 100% with the law. 100%. Without law, there is no country. That's the only thing I'm gonna say. Nothing to do with, I have kids too. Same thing my kids gonna do. I don't want my kids be a bad or do something bad. I have kids too, I have family. The first thing I said, I'm with the law. Anything with the law, some city, they passed the law, some city they did not. I'm with the law. The law, yes, we are with the law. With no, well, that's it. The same thing when they demolish, I get shut down before, and I sit with the mayor before. And I opened, they signed, I didn't sue the city because I run business, and they said, I sign, I don't want to sue nobody because I'm hard working man. I'm not looking for easy money. I work to feed my family from good income, not like bad income. So if they shut down when, like, if I'm gonna lose a lot of business, still I'm gonna sell stuff, but my income is gonna be low, but I'm still gonna follow the law. I'm not gonna breaking the law.
And sir, that is what we're discussing here tonight,
Yep.
is a
Yeah.
change in the law of the city of DeKalb.
Yeah, that's the only thing
So,
I said. Some
appreciate
they
you.
said yes, some no.
Yeah, thank you.
No.
Alderman Carlson.
No, I don't want
You.
to step on any toes. I'm as 420 friendly as anyone I know. I've looked forward to when the state of Illinois and DeKalb would have dispensaries. However, I always wanted it the same as alcohol. And if you go back in Prohibition and that, there was antifreeze in alcohol. They were selling candy cigarettes. It's the same thing. We've seen this. And you have to have it regulated. And when the state regulates, it's just like I go into a bar, I get ID'd, even looking old. Well, I went into Rockies. I bought. I didn't get ID'd. No one checked my ID. I bought it, I went home, I got high. And I'm just saying it, I'm your guinea pig, everyone. That should never happen. And I know I'm old, but it should be everyone's the same. It's the same at the bars. It's the same at the liquor stores. You get a liquor license. And this is the way we've helped keep it away from kids. They don't sell candy cigarettes anymore. They don't, all of the alcohol is tested. We know where it comes from. And especially with the cannabis, what I've loved is we see it from seed until that. And it's all in our state. We're doing it the right way. We can't have it, and I'm sorry to small business, but we can't have it just everyone can then sell it in whatever the hell they want. It has to be this way. That way kids will be better, and that way we can do this the right way rather than the wrong way. Learn from the past. That's all I'm saying.
Any others? I agree. Comes down to regulation. Weeds regulated, alcohol's regulated. This is very unregulated, and it's affecting people's lives. And quite frankly, if someone has to go to Sycamore to buy it, I'm okay with that. Get in your car, drive somewhere else and get it. But in the city of DeKalb, we're not going to allow it here anymore. So with that, there are no other comments or questions. Roll call, please.
Verbic,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes.
7-8.
Ordinance 2025-030 passed on first reading. I take a motion to waive second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Smith, seconded by Alderman Walker. Any comments or questions on that? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Walker,
Yes.
Larson,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Verbic,
Yes.
Mayor Barnes.
Yes. Ordinance 2025-030 has passed on, or second reading has been waived. So this is now the law of the city of DeKalb. 10 days. All right, with that, we'll move on to agenda item M, reports and communications, council member reports. Alderman Smith, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Road work is going like crazy up in Third Ward. Also, I'm glad to see Target's finishing up their big
Okay,
project.
we'll pause if everyone wants to leave, if you want to.
Okay.
That way people can hear you at home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
What do you think? Go for it?
See you, Mark. All right, go for it.
Target's finishing up their project. Thank you, Mr. Riddell, for the update on that a while ago. Skechers is open, I believe. I don't know how much money my wife spent there yet. And really, that's about it. Thank you.
Alderman Powell.
I had a chance to attend the Fun Jam in the Park and kind of co-host with a bunch of foundations in the PD. It was a great experience, and I encourage everyone else to get involved. I know there's been some trouble in that area, but it's still good people there, still children there, and I just encourage people to get involved. It was a great experience.
Okay, so Mr. Humble here.
Yes.
Had the reptile truck out, funded that, in and out cuts, funded having that come out, and that was incredible. The kids absolutely loved it. Then also bought a bunch of tacos and burritos for Burritoville for the kids, so you didn't do more than just kind of hang out there. You really
That's all
made,
I'm saying.
you helped make that event.
Did you pet the
Yeah.
snakes?
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
All right, Alderman Walker.
Hey, I just got a question for the city manager, if I can. Is there a way that we could possibly raise the fines, or?
Yeah,
for-
I know. I was saying the same thing.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
is there a way, I'm talking about like, and maybe not speed up, but maybe do some more stings and raise those fines greatly, like to the point where they're
Yeah.
carding people like my grandmother, if she was still alive.
We can bring something back to you. It's council's choice, and it's a matter of changing the ordinance just to increase the fines. And we can bring something back, particularly in the way of violation of tobacco codes and what we've just done here. I can do that. There's a lot of
Yeah.
fines in
Absolutely.
the
I'm
code
shaking my
books,
head.
but with respect to consumable objects, and particularly those that are illegal, I think we can easily do that, bring that back.
Heads are nodding all around, so
Hey, and the
let's
one
do
last
that.
question, and anybody can answer this. Let's say, okay, so the cash register, the lady or man working the cash register gets fined, and the store does? Is that
Does
how-
the store too? Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
Okay.
we will issue a separate fine to the store and license either suspension or revocation depending upon
Okay.
Cool.
what the.
Please do.
hearing officer
Let's
warrants.
let's bring something. Let's bring something forward
will.
on that. Yep. Okay. Alderman Walker. Did you have anything else, or that's it? Okay. Alderman Verbeck.
We had a very productive meeting with the downtown merchants. I learned a lot about what's happening downtown and look forward to next steps on a number of initiatives in our downtown.
Alderman Carlson.
I want to add one more thing that I didn't say earlier. The other is, we're the only city in a, 40-mile, 50-mile radius with a university. So we have new kids coming into this town every year, too. It's not just the families here in DeKalb, every single year. And I think that would set a better precedent for families that want to send their kids here when they know that the city of DeKalb feels this way. The other is, I want to go on a high note. I went to my first Pride Fest on Saturday, and wow, to have that heat and to be that well, there were so many people. It was a great time. Everybody was having a great time, and I'll be back next year. With that heat, everyone check on their neighbors. I am always going to say that because of this heat we're having. This last week, I also was on TD Ryan's Unleashed. I'm giving him a plug because TD is, many people in this room have been on with him, and he's been a voice for 30 years. Listen to his podcast. Also, the last is, everyone have a great 4th of July, and I'm looking at dates to have a meet and greet with the people of the 4th Ward after the 4th of July. I'm going to try to do it before Corn Fest, just so I can meet the people I haven't met yet. And that's about it.
Awesome. Alderman Larson.
Yeah, I was at Andre's Fun Jam in the park. I mean, yeah, it was beyond cool, and the kids were really focused on it. I too attended Pride Fest and was able to meet for a little bit with Lauren Underwood. She was there, carried the banner and walked the parade and everything, and told her how much we appreciated her recognizing DeKalb with some of their projects, and rural DeKalb County, because a lot of times we get lost in municipality things. So, yeah, and just to everyone have a safe 4th of July.
For me, yep, Juneteenth was phenomenal. I mean, it was packed. I got to commend the Egyptian Theater for opening up the theater. They made a really slushy concoction that was awesome. And
That's Pride.
What did I say?
You went to Juneteenth, too.
Oh, sorry, I'm
Yeah.
going.
I was
Sorry, so
cooked.
DeKalb Pride, yes, and I am cooked after 2 days in the sun.
I know, I was cooked.
So DeKalb Pride, but the Egyptian Theater offered up the theater, and the air conditioning was cranking, and it made a difference for a lot of people because there were people of all ages that came out, and it was packed inside as well as outside. I was blown away by the attendance.
Well, and that air conditioning, just to hone in a little bit, allowed the police presence there to rotate in and cool
yeah.
off wearing their full vests
Yeah,
and
they got a
stuff.
few layers on.
Yes, yes, so that was awesome.
Then was at the Juneteenth celebration in Hopkins Park. The heat definitely was an impact there. That was a really tough day, but it was great to see a lot of people out, a lot of vendors out. So it's always a good event, and recommend people putting that on their calendar. Fun Jam in the park, as I mentioned, Alderman Powell, you were fantastic, but Chief Byrd, thanks as always. You all just, I mean, you crush it. I'm just blown away by the kids, the parents, NIU participating in it. You know how to put on one heck of an event, and I think it does a lot for those in the community. Also, was at the Downtown Merchants meeting with Alderman Verbeek, always just looking how we can help our merchants and also address some issues that they have and we have, and figure out collaboratively how we can come up with a solution. So Alderman Verbeek, I really appreciate you coming to that.
Opportunities, no issues.
Yep, absolutely. Was at Whiskey Acres for the Convention and Visitors Bureau. They had international Convention and Visitors Bureau people up. We were one of the stops, and they stopped at Whiskey Acres, they stopped at Elwood House, but they had a whole tour bus of people from all over the world, and I mean all over the world, coming. And Whiskey Acres was hopping. I bet there was 100, 150 cars there. It was just jam-packed, so they were doing a great job out there. Also met with NIU. City Manager Nicholas and I regularly meet with NIU and their leadership, and we were strategizing over a few issues that they had on the agenda, which was really good. Attended TD Ryan's podcast as well. I love TD, always fun. Definitely got to check out his podcast. And then we also had a meeting with Pastor Mitchell, some city staff, just talking about de-escalation in our community, because we've got enough incidences that start with squirt guns and end with real guns. And we had a really productive conversation that led to a bunch of next steps, which is really good. So it was a busy couple of weeks. How about you, City Manager? What you got?
Just very quickly, thinking about Mike Thomas's, today was his last council meeting, but he's going to be around a couple more weeks at the staff level, and we're going to enjoy him. But I want to point out that still sitting in the room tonight is our Deputy Chief, Luke Howison, who will be the acting chief upon Mike's final walkout, I believe on the 11th of July. So take a bow, Luke. Luke has also, by the way, worked every job but one in the fire department. So we're in good hands during the transition. So one last thing, I think it's terrific the way people have embraced Fun Jam, and I think it will only get better from here. But I want to give a call out to Chief Byrd. His concept, his idea, the framework, and frankly, the personality of the event is his. So thank you very much.
And Deputy Chief, if you could make sure council gets invited to the walkout, that would be really cool, that we can get it on all our calendars. So thank you. All right, with that, agenda item N, executive session, we have none. And that brings us to O, adjournment. I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Powell, seconded by Alderman Smith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay, same sign. We are adjourned.
Oh,